Welcome back to Constantly Curious. Today we're looking at something almost everyone on the planet has in common: the birthday. Have you ever wondered when people started celebrating birthdays? I have. We blow out candles, we eat way too much cake, and we sing a song that, honestly, is a little awkward to stand through. But have you ever wondered why? Why do we care about the day we were born? And where do these weird traditions come from? Well, grab a slice of cake, because the history of the birthday is much older and a bit darker than you might think. If we want to find the first birthday ever recorded, we have to go back about 5,000 years to ancient Egypt. But here's the catch: it wasn't for the common person. In fact, it wasn't even for a baby. When a pharaoh was crowned, they were believed to be transformed into a god. That coronation day was considered their birth as a deity. So, the first birthday parties in history were actually massive festivals celebrating the birth of a god king rather than a biological beginning. Now, for the cake and candles, we have the ancient Greeks to thank. They started honoring Artemis, the goddess of the moon, with honey cakes. To make the cakes look like they were glowing, just like the moon, they placed lit candles on top. But there was a superstitious side to this. People back then believed that major transitions, like aging a year, left you vulnerable to evil spirits. The candles were lit as a protective light, and the smoke was meant to carry your prayers and wishes directly to the gods. So, when you blow out your candles today, you're actually practicing an ancient ritual meant to ward off demons and send a telegram to the heavens. It wasn't until the Romans that common people started getting in on the fun. They were the first to celebrate the birthdays of ordinary citizens. Well, ordinary men, at least. If you were a Roman man reaching your 50th year, you'd even get a special cake made of wheat flour, grated cheese, honey, and olive oil. Women's birthdays didn't really become a thing until the 12th century. And for a long time, the early Christian church actually banned birthday celebrations entirely. They saw them as pagan rituals and preferred to celebrate the days saints died, because that was seen as their true birth into heaven. So, how did we get to the modern party? We look to 18th century Germany and a tradition called Kinderfest. This was the first time we saw the children's birthday party as we know it. They added one candle for every year of the child's life, plus one extra to symbolize the light of life or the hope for another year. Even then, children didn't always get to eat the cake right away. It was often kept out all day until after dinner to protect the child from those lingering spirits we talked about. Then, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. Before the mid-19th century, ingredients like refined sugar and flour were luxury items, meaning only the wealthy could afford a birthday cake. Once mass production kicked in, bakeries started offering pre-made cakes at lower prices, and the tradition finally trickled down to the working class. And we can't talk about birthdays without that song. In 1893, two sisters named Patty and Mildred Hill wrote a little tune called "Good Morning to All" for their kindergarten students. Through a series of copyright battles and lyrical changes, it evolved into "Happy Birthday to You." It eventually became so famous that it was the first song ever performed in outer space when the Apollo 9 crew sang it in 1969. From Egyptian gods and protective Greek smoke to German toddlers and spacefaring melodies, the birthday has come a long way. Next time you're awkwardly standing there while people sing to you, just remember, you're participating in a 5,000-year-old human obsession with time, survival, and of course, sugar. Thanks for listening to Constantly Curious. If you enjoyed this trip through time, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, stay curious.